Hokey dokey. So this is Goose.
This is Goose.
Didn't
Say
get to see
hi.
him on the Zoom, other than
Yeah.
that little bit.
Say hi. Come
Do you have your collar?
in. I do.
All right, this one.
So I opened it and looked at the video, tested it
Okay.
and everything. So, but I brought everything just in case.
Sure.
because-
So we'll just need the collar and the remote there.
And this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And-
But yes, I didn't want to put it on him until I got here because
You're fine.
didn't know how.
So go ahead and power it on with those two red dots.
Stop. Sit.
There you go. And then you're gonna press and hold that blue button on the side.
Okay. Oh.
Yep. Right, so now if you hit that pager function right there, go and hit that. It's just
Yeah.
a vibrate function, okay?
Okay.
So that helps you track if it's on or off.
Okay.
So if you're ever working with Goose, if something seems off, like he's not responding, and you're like really like high at 40 or something, you hit the vibrate function, and like sometimes it dies, it runs out of power, or maybe you forgot to turn it on. So instead of like going up higher and higher, I use the pager function to test if it's on.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So then you can want to place it on him here, anywhere from one side of the throat to the other side of the throat is all up for grabs.
Okay. Come here. Sit. I know. I understand. But okay. I can't wait for your grooming appointment next week. So on the side?
Yeah,
Right there. Okay.
that's good.
Alrighty. Stop. Hold on. I gotta. Hold on, please don't move. I'm really nervous about messing this up.
You're okay. So you just put it snug.
Nope, I almost had it. This mask isn't helping either for me to see. Goose. Stop. Okay.
Good. And then you're gonna feed that extra slack, through the loop there, and then through that square bar, and then you're gonna flip it upside down, and then go through the loop again. Yeah.
Okay.
So for the first couple of weeks, I suggest that you don't trim it.
Okay.
You just do this in the beginning, just in case you have to exchange your or anything like that, because it makes life a little easier.
Okay.
And then after a couple of weeks, if everything's going well, he's responding well to the collar and everything, you can then trim it. Okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and grab your remote.
Alrighty.
So what we're going to start with today is what we call the place command.
Okay.
It's meant for extended use and just keeping the dog still for a bit.
Oh.
And it's a great indoor thing that you can start off with that's easy to do, because typically we would cover the heel exercise. But this is, with it being as cold as it's going to be, this will be effective for you to at least start getting used to how the collar works and to get them used to it as well.
Okay. This must not be on tight enough because it's moving.
Oh yeah, if it's moving around, it's too good, like the too loose.
His hair is not helping the situation, so. Okay, I don't want to be too tight, but let's try that. Oh, there you
Yeah, you
go.
got a little dense coat there.
Yeah.
I think that should be good.
Okay.
Once we start working with them, we'll figure it out.
Oh, come on.
To the circle.
Oh, through the
Yeah.
circle. I was like,
Yeah, the square one you can only go through once.
okay.
There you go.
Alrighty. There. Okay.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Alrighty. So I'm going to help you find that working or operating number I spoke about within the video.
Okay.
So here, go ahead and set your number to like 10. And if you land like 9 or 11 or so, that's fine, just general range.
Okay. So set it to 10. Okay.
Okay, and we're gonna look at Goose here, and when I say tap, you're gonna press that bumpy button on the side, right there, okay? Tap, tap, tap. No response, let's go to 15. And tap, tap, tap. 20.
Oh man.
Tap, tap, tap. No response, 25. 25. Tip, tip, tip. No response, 30. Tip, tip, tip. No response, 35. Tip, tip. No response, 40. Tip, tip, tip. 45. Tip, tip, tip. 50. And this is because it's coat.
Okay.
Okay. Tip, 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 tip. He's fine with people in space, right?
I think so, yeah. It's always been, he's been good with people, yeah.
Okay, so let me see Leash. So you have a fitness nut, okay? Nice hero. So I'm gonna try to help you find this, okay? So you're not doing anything wrong here, it's just how thick this coat is. So I'm at 25. Tip, tip, tip. 31, 36, 45, 52, 61, 67,
Can't believe how bad.
73, but he's not feeling anything. 78, 84, 90. Because we're not missing the twitch here. Okay, so when you have contact, 95. Hold this, please. I'm gonna adjust this real quick. So you have a fitness nut, but with these guys with these really curly fur, it's just getting through that coat.
Yeah.
And now I say he's gonna get groomed in a week, so that'll help as well. Put one more snug. Okay.
I mean, that makes sense, like if I were to do one of those like things at the chiropractor and I had to go through layers of clothes.
Yeah, actually, the client I had before you said she tested out her leg and she went as high as 60. And I was like, man, that's a lot. And she's like, well, I had my pants on. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna dip down. What is this at?
This is at 95.
Okay, so I'll take here. Pull down. 16. Tip, tip, tip. 23. 26. 29. 33. 37. 43. 49. There we go. That's 56.
Okay.
And then dip it back down. 17. 23. 28. 34. Potentially something there. 35. 44. There we go.
Yeah.
36. 41. Right there. Wait a moment. Right there. You see that?
Yeah.
35. 30. 40. We're gonna start with 40.
Okay.
If we end up getting a yip, it's because we have good contact, we'll just dial it down.
Okay.
So, obviously once it gets groomed, it'll be a lot easier.
Okay.
And because we're starting with something indoors, you don't have to worry about trying to figure all that out while you're outside.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you get used to it, it's going to be a lot more straightforward.
Okay.
So here we started at 15, we worked our way up. Obviously the first time we was like 80, whatever, like super high. Something's up, right?
Yeah.
So I tightened it up a notch, and then I was going higher and then coming down lower. Because sometimes once you achieve higher, you can keep the contact even lower.
Okay.
Okay, but the lowest I saw we were able to go was 40.
Okay.
So here, on that 40, so I'm kind of doing like a bit of this. That's what I would call a working number right now.
Okay.
Okay, and it would probably be even lower if we have better contact. So when you work with them at home, you're gonna do this process every time. We're gonna start low, you're gonna work your way up.
Okay.
And I go like increments of 5, just to make it easier. Otherwise, if you go in increments of 1 or 2, whatever, you're gonna be there for quite a bit. Okay. So the command that we're gonna work on, super simple. It's gonna help teach Goose the concept of pressure on, pressure off.
Okay.
Pressure on when you need him to do something, pressure off once he complies. Okay, so here we have a very large placemat, and we're gonna use the pressure to guide him here. Okay? So we're not gonna say anything in the beginning. Because like let's say you did say, you know, Goose, go to bed or something, and he hopped on it. Like, great, but it didn't allow us to use the remote. Okay, so we're not gonna use any words, we're just gonna use the remote and leash pressure to guide him. Okay? So in the beginning, you're gonna start, and I'm gonna coach through all this, but just to, like as a demonstration, you're gonna start about a foot away. You're gonna shorten your leash, kind of like you have it there. Okay, you're gonna shorten it. And then I usually brace with my foot because sometimes the dog will push back on it. And we're gonna start tapping first, okay? And you know, tap, tap, tap. And we're gonna see what he does. Because sometimes the dog will just hop on there, okay? So we'll see if we get lucky. If not, after that second or third tap, if we see Goose has no idea what to do, is you're gonna keep tapping, and then we're gonna use that leash pressure to guide him towards the bed. Now, let's say he starts to resist, because this is a foreign object to him. You'll just have to compensate with more leash pressure to guide him to the bed, okay? But you're gonna keep tapping the whole time. Now, once he's on here, you're gonna stop the remoting. If he stays there, good, but if he then tries to hop off, you're gonna start tapping, exactly, and then we're gonna counter him with leash pressure back onto the bed. If he overshoots and goes this way, we're gonna counter back this way, start tapping again until he's on the bed. Once he stays there for a couple of seconds, we use the word break. Break means your job is done. You're gonna cue break, and we're gonna move backwards with Goose, no tapping, to draw him, to bring him off. Then we're gonna walk up again, tell him to stop. If you were to hop on there, you wanna restrain him, because we want him to respond to the remote and not assume to go there. Okay?
Okay.
Questions?
I think I got it.
All right, so go ahead and present Mr. Goose to the bed here.
Okay. All right, bud.
And you're gonna choke up a little bit more. I'm gonna have you give him only about a foot. Yeah, that's good right there.
I have another leash that doesn't have the bungee, if that matters or not.
With you right now, or?
Yeah.
We'll try with this one. The bungee technically works in his favor. We'll see how he does. If it's too problematic, we'll swap it out. Okay? And yeah. Actually, let's go down lower. That's what now?
40.
Let's go down to 30. And tap. Oh, yeah, we have the contact now. Let's go down to 20. And tap. Tap. Yeah, we have contact. Perfect. So now keep tapping here. Tap. Tap. And now apply leash pressure towards the bed. Tap. 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 Good. I'm gonna wait a second right there. Good. Then you're gonna say break, and you're gonna move backwards.
Break.
And give a little bit of a tug.
Break.
And boy, good. And repeat that 4 more times.
Okay.
Okay? And tap. 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 Now pull. Tap. 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 Right there. Good. Wait a moment. Tap. Tap. Yep. Counter pressure. Tap. Good. And wait a moment. Good. Break. And move backwards.
Break.
Good. We're trying 3 more times. Tip. 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 Good. Right there. Wait a moment. Tip. Tip. Right. Tip. A little bit more of a pull. Good. Let's go to 25. And tip. Tip. Good. Wait a moment. Break.
Break.
And backwards. Good, 2 more. Dip, 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 dip. there, wait a moment. Good. Break.
Break.
Good, and backward. Yep, and a little pull. Add boy, and one more. And pull, dip. Dip. Good, right there. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to repeat that same process, except you're going to start walking around the mat. Okay, so you're going to stop at different points. So you walk around, maybe you stop here, wait a moment, start the tapping. After 3 taps, then lead him. Once he's there, pause, break, and then you're going to walk around. Maybe you try sending him from like this direction. We're going to do that 5 times. Okay?
Okay. Break.
And pull. Pull, pull, pull. And boy.
And so just walk around?
Yep. Good. Go ahead and try it there. And dip. Tip. Tip. Now tap and pull. Tip. Good. And wait a moment. And break.
Break.
And backwards. Good. 4 more times. Yep, double pull right there. Let's go to 28.
Probably gonna be 29 if I.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay, it's 29.
There you go. Break.
Break.
And backwards, back. Boom, boom, there, boom. There we go. 2 more. Now here, go ahead and pull back, right? Because now he's starting to assume,
Okay.
right? So he's going, hey, I'm going to get tapped. So what happens if I just go there, right?
Yeah.
So we just pull him back and then relax, because I want him to go in response to pressure.
Okay.
It's good that he's doing that because obviously he's tying those 2 things together, but we want to make sure it's always in response to the collar.
Okay.
Okay? Now tap, tap, tap. A little bit of leash pressure. Tap. Tip. There you go. And boy. And break.
Break.
And backwards. Break. Good boy. Good. 1 more. Yeah. Good. Let's go. You're 29.
Yes.
Let's try 33. So it looks like we lost some contact here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how he does. So questions about this so far?
No, I keep wanting to like say good boy and stuff like that, but I'm like keeping it in.
Sure. I don't mind.
Actually listening.
I don't mind if you say good.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't do is we don't put in a lot of energy.
Okay.
Okay. So when we do obedient stuff, because if I remember, there was like barking, right, at the door and sounds and the window and everything.
Yes.
There's a lot of overstimulation.
Mm-hmm.
Your sound is energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you go into a bar, really loud, right? That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Go into a library, very quiet,
Yeah.
slow energy, right? So here, if we have a guy who's already kind of overstimulated,
Yeah.
you like, boy, Goose, right? Now you're just adding more energy into a dog that really doesn't need it.
Yeah.
So if you want to mark it like good, that's perfectly fine,
Mm-hmm.
but just we don't go over the top with
Okay.
it. Now, if I'm dealing with a dog that's very insecure, very fearful, it's opposite. Because
Okay.
the dog's so timid, we need to put in energy
Okay.
to lift her spirits, right?
Got it.
So here, the discomfort, the e-collar, right? He's feeling this, and he's like, man, I don't like this. And then you're guiding him, bless you, with the leash pressure to the mat, right? And now he's learning, oh, when I feel this, if I go here, it goes away, okay? So that's why that one where he kind of prematurely just started to go, because he's trying to avoid the
Yeah.
e-collar, right? So aversives are healthy. Aversives make things important, right? So here, the reason why we have to have that working or operating number is because we need Goose to have some level of concern with the obedience or even with the behavior, right? Because if there's no concern, it means it's not important. If it's not important, he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have to create concern with a ton of power. We just have to have enough power for him to think like, you know what, I'm either going to go here just so I can avoid it, or I'm not going to. So you know how you say break and he's wanting to stay put?
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's picking up on the pattern of break and then send.
Mm-hmm.
So he's thinking, well, I know you're going to send me here again, so I'm just going to stay here, right?
Yeah.
That means it's concerning, okay?
Okay.
So we definitely want to see that stuff. You can see him here kind of just like sitting there with his head down.
Mm-hmm.
That's him processing.
Okay.
Okay, he's trying to like, you know, just contemplating his life's decisions. So like, you know, what has brought me here today? Not literally, but
Well,
he's just going like, he's like, what's going on right now? Right? He's like, I'm feeling this thing. It's not going away because it keeps coming back, but it does disappear. Right? When does it disappear? Well, it disappears when I'm here. Because when I tried to sneak off earlier, it kicked in again. When I went back on, it disappeared. Right?
Yeah.
It's like that's the math going on within the head.
Okay.
So that's why.
He looks so sad, so I feel bad, but at least it's him thinking.
It's that, but then also the thing is, no one likes discipline, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody would like to think, or everybody likes to think that they can train a dog or fix a behavioral issue using food and treats and positivity, but that's not the reality of the world.
Yeah.
So here, the reason why we're not using food is because food doesn't create reliable obedience. Now, positive reinforcement is a great reinforcer. It's a great added tool, but I know at the end of the day, with this stuff alone, I can get off-leash reliability, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we won't incorporate food, but this is what I focus on first. And then if he's doing really well, and you're doing really well, and you're like, yeah, this is pretty easy, no problem adding in something extra. Okay? Questions so far?
No, I'm glad that he's responding to it.
Yeah,
I was nervous with it.
No, I've never had a dog not respond to this. Okay, the only thing I've ever had was a dog who was very resilient and didn't want to do what we wanted him to do, and the numbers were crazy high. Okay, but I've never had a dog that I could not do the behavior. Okay, so I'm gonna have you go ahead and release him, break and move backwards.
Break.
And what we're gonna do here, same concept, but now we're gonna move back about an extra square, so about 2 feet back. Okay. About there, and tap, tap, there we go, good. And wait a moment, see what he does here. Good, now break, move backwards.
Break.
And avoid, 4 more. Let's go back to that. You're at 30 what now?
33.
Let's go 30. And then a little bit of pull and tap. 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 30. Let's go back to 33. Tap. 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 36. Tap, 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 40. Tap, 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 45. Tap, 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 50. And then this is just lost connection again. Tap, tap. 55. Yeah. Yeah. 60. Yeah. Yeah. 65. Yeah. 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 So the reason why we lost connection is because since the flat collar is fitted underneath the e-collar, when you pull forward, it's shifting the e-collar.
Okay.
Can you see that? So that's why we're having issues here. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna swap places. There we go. You go ahead and dip down your collar, then you go down to 30. And you're gonna put slight pressure on them. And tap, tap, tap. And then a little bit of pull, tap, tap, a little more pulling pressure, tap, tap, tap. 35. Tap, tap, tap. 40. Tap, tap. There we go, tap. A little bit more of a physical pull, tap. There we go. And then towards the bed, tap. Right there. So, do you know what that was?
No.
Shut down and resistance.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm done doing that.
I'm done, right?
Yeah.
So, understandable, right? Because he's stressed. So just like with people, we get too stressed, we can be like, I'm done, right? But here, if we stop that, because a lot of people or trainers would say like, oh, the dog's shut down, reset. That creates unreliable obedience. Okay, or unreliable control, however you want to look at it. Okay, because he knows there's an out.
Yes.
Okay, and then what happens is he goes, oh, I have an out here. So then it's going to become an out for everything else. Okay.
Yeah.
So we always push through that. And he picks the number, right? So we made a couple of adjustments and then went back and then we started raising the number again. And then we landed on 40. And so that's a little bit higher than where we were at earlier. So for him, he's sitting there and he's like, don't want to do it. And then the power starts to go up. He's like, oh, this is starting to get uncomfortable. And he gets more uncomfortable. He's like, oh, he's like, this is not getting better. And then he pops up. And then once he came over here and we tapped one time, he just went, whoop, went straight there. So it was clear that he had a concept of what he was supposed to do. He just didn't want to do it. So what he just learned is trying to shut down or resist is not going to help the situation. Just comply, right? And we it's not like we went to 100. We were just gradually going there, taking a couple of taps at a time, and eventually he's like, all right, this isn't going to work. I need to do what they want me to do. Okay? So don't think of this as being mean. Okay?
I know.
Because that resistance and that shutdown is also part of the problem. Just doing what he wants. Whether that be barking out the window or barking at the door or barking whenever he wants, to like, I don't want to do this. That's another decision, right? So we're teaching him, and it sounds bad, humans have rights. Humans have choices that we can do, right? Dogs don't. Because if you give dogs choices, their choices are usually not to our benefit, right? They're usually self-fulfilling. So here, like I don't care, you know, if he sleeps on the couch and stuff, but I don't want him barking at the door, right? Because there has to be rules of things, and we have to reinforce things. So he learns like, oh, you know what? He's like, Mom, there's rules now. And then trying to resist Mom isn't always going to go my way. That's how we start to change the psychology of things. Okay? So it's like for someone with a group of friends, if they decide to like kind of just change their life, and their friends are like, nah, then you can't do that, and they're like, all right, then you're not my friend anymore. I'm gonna still do this. Does that make sense? And then the people who are for you and care about you will actually like, yeah, go for it, do it, right? Kind of same thing here. You're making these changes, and he's gonna go against them because he's saying, no, that's not how it's been.
We've been doing,
Exactly, right? So, and again, you don't have to be mean. You're not being forceful. You're not yanking him all over the place. You're not yelling at him. It's all through the remote pressure. Okay?
And it's definitely like this is, if not best, like I wish obviously we would have started sooner, but he's catching on of, oh, well, I can make my own decisions. I can do whatever I want. And for lack of like, you know, like talking back, like watch me, like try telling me like, okay, you can try to bribe me or you can give me a tap on the butt, like I don't care anymore. Like so that's why I was nervous that he would resist this too, because he
Yeah, which he did,
Yeah.
but we can win.
Okay.
And we can win without being forceful.
Yeah.
And we can win without being mean, right?
And angry, yeah. I don't want to be
Because that's where frustration comes from.
Yeah.
Frustration comes from the lack of control, being able to get control, right? We're just like, come on, dog, just like do it, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing that can make it.
Especially with barking. I'm like, I will give you anything, I will do anything to get you to stop barking. Please stop barking.
So, and it's really that simple.
Okay.
And the more he does that, the better.
Okay.
Because it gives you more opportunities to break that down and say, like, it's not going to work anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to have you go ahead and cue him to break.
Break.
And we're going to repeat that 4 more times. Pull, pull, pull. And go ahead and choke off a little bit on your leash. So if you choke, if you can wrap closer, you have more leverage.
Okay.
There we go. And there. Right there. That's fine. Good. So you tapped one time, but he was very obviously and clearly going to the bed.
Oh,
so I can lay off.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that was good. Break.
Break.
Yeah, that one tap, I saw him walk around and just start going. It wasn't the fastest, but he was clearly doing it. Yeah. 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 Almost. There he goes. Yeah, boy. Good. And break.
Break.
Give it 2 more. Pull, pull, pull. Break, break.
Come on.
Pull, pull, and keep moving back. Yeah, boy, good. Now that's resistance too. I don't tap there because break means you're off the clock. So technically he doesn't have to move, but for the sake of the exercise, we need him to move.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Tap. 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 Yep. There he goes. That was low level resistance. Good. And break.
Break.
Pull, pull, pull. Yeah, boy, and 1 more. Yeah, let's straighten them, right? Wait a moment. That's okay. And tip. 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 A little bit of pressure. Tip. Yeah, it's okay. There he goes. That's not pain. What is that?
Annoyance. I mean, he whines about a lot, so it doesn't surprise me that he's being dramatic, but yeah, he's just like resisting.
Yes, right. So right there, that was not physical discomfort.
Yeah.
That was what we would call the brain getting frustrated because it doesn't want to do it, but knows it has to do it. Right? So that's just like a fine type of sound.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you see that stuff, as best as you can, don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I saw your expression.
Yeah.
Like you were like this, right?
I was like shoving it down into
Yes.
my stomach, yeah.
Because he sees that.
Yeah. Okay.
And what happens is, in this exercise, if you're projecting that energy like, oh, I'm worried, or like, oh, all right, this is not pretty, it is that's how he's then gonna feel about it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like if you ask someone, oh, you saw that new movie? How was it? And like, right off the bat, that makes you think like, oh, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
Right? I'm probably not gonna like it or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing here. If you're kind of in that like, oh, I know this sucks, buddy, but we gotta do it.
Yeah.
He's not gonna like it because you don't like it, right?
Okay.
So here, you always want to be neutral or upbeat. Okay. So for him, if it's like, hey, this sucks, and you're like, good boy, break, all right, please, right, or whatever.
Okay.
He's like, all right, he's like, this sucks, but you're fine with it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Is it just becomes, hey, this is life.
Yeah.
Right? And eventually, he's gonna learn the game, and the game is when we put pressure on, if you just move with it, it's easy.
Yeah.
Right? You are controlling the levels, you're controlling the frequency, you're controlling all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you're just good, or if you're just a good dog and you're being compliant, we're golden, right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, all this stuff is not out the ordinary. He's actually doing really, really well.
Okay.
I know he may look like sad or depressed, but typically I see dogs and they're like panting, very heavily, or they're shaking, or their eyes are bulging because they're just under so much stress. It's not. Like he's stressed, but he's not like overly stressed.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good.
Okay.
So questions so far about this?
No, I think I expected all of it. So I'm trying to like, be like neutral and positive.
Yes.
Even though I am a softie.
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start putting a cue to this. Okay. Now we say the word place. Some people say go to your bed. Do you know, or do you have a phrase you want to use?
I guess bed.
Bed?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do here, everything's gonna stay the same. You're gonna cue the break, you're gonna walk backwards, you're gonna walk around, you're gonna present Goose at some point, you're gonna come to a stop. But this time, you're gonna cue the word bed first, and then you're gonna start tapping. And then if he doesn't respond, you're gonna keep tapping and then pull.
Okay.
Okay, so we have word, then the tapping, and then the pulling if needed.
Okay.
Okay?
And this should be like an open bed like this, or can it be like his crate, or?
So it can be, so technically you can use this crate. I usually tell people to just keep crate.
Okay.
It's actually the same concept in teaching the dog to go to crate. It's the same thing as this.
Okay.
But crate is like something you can close off.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
So with this, it can be a dog bed, it can be a towel, a blanket, a carpet, anything that has a perimeter. Okay, so like one time I was at the park and I forgot to bring my placemat, so I just dropped out my jacket. And I trained the dog to go to place in my jacket because it was a perimeter. Okay. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can also have multiple places within the home.
Okay.
So you can have one in the bedroom, one in the living room, one in the kitchen or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you said place in the kitchen, he would go to the one in the kitchen. Very unlikely he'd go to the one in the living room.
Gotcha.
Right? Because he's gonna see the context.
Yeah.
You can also have one object that you move around.
Okay.
You know, and he'll learn to recognize the bed itself. And then whenever you say place, if you've moved it into that room, he'll just target it because he recognizes the object.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I have like a bed, but he never uses it. He just either goes in the crate, couch, or my bed. So that's why I was like, but for training purposes, I can get him to go to the
Yes,
bed.
so that bed you can absolutely use. You're not the first person. I've had plenty of people tell me like, hey, I bought my dog his bed and they don't use it.
Yeah.
Now I can make them use it.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you can. Okay? So go ahead and cue the word break.
Oh. Okay. Cheerful.
Yes.
Break.
And backwards.
Come on,
Pull,
bud.
pull, pull, pull,
Come on.
pull. Pull, pull, pull.
Come on. Good.
Yeah, boy. Good.
No.
Right.
Guys, stop. Say it. Bed.
Okay. There you go. Good.
I don't know if he just did it though.
No, he actually did that in response to your, because he was doing something else, and right when you said bed, I saw him turn around.
Oh, okay.
Break.
Break.
And pull, pull, pull. Pull, pull, pull.
Come on. Come on.
There we go. Good. Atta boy.
Good boy. Bed.
There you go. Good. Break.
Break. Come on. Break. Come on, Goose.
Break, break, break.
Come on.
Pull, pull, pull. Pull, pull, pull.
Come on.
Pull, pull.
Come on. You got it. You got it.
Pull, pull, pull.
Come on, Goose. You're good.
Atta boy. Good.
Good boy.
Couple more.
Mm-hmm. Bed.
Tip. Tip.
Bed.
So no repeats, just tip, tip, tip. A little bit of pressure. Tip. Tip. There he goes. Yeah, boy. Good.
Good job.
And break.
Break.
Pull, 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 pull. Yeah. Uh-oh.
This is why we need another collar.
If you get another one, I suggest a flat buckle.
That, yeah, I remember that next time. So I'll do that tonight. Should have done that before. Oh.
Right, so then tap. There we go. Good.
And then break. Come on.
Break.
Come on.
There we go. Good. One more. Right? Good. Right.
Bed.
Perfect. What I'm gonna have you do here is keep holding that leash and go ahead and have a seat. So here, there's two aspects to the place command or bed command here. We have the send, and then we have the don't move. Okay? What we're working on is the send. So here, what we want to see, of course, is when you say bed, it's just a straight shot. Okay? Now he is moving a bit slowly. Right now, I'm not too concerned about the speed because we can create speed through repetition or through more power. Okay, so because it's his first session, I'm not pushing him too much. But at some point, we're going to start tweaking things. Okay? So here, this type of exercise with the, go to bed and the break, 3 to 5 minutes, 2 times a day. Okay, super short sessions because it's really redundant and you can see where the dogs just get frustrated. Okay? And then they don't want to get off or they keep assuming to jump on.
Do we keep doing
Okay?
Yeah.
So then we have the stay, don't move aspect. And you can work on both these things at the same time. So this would be stay, don't move, right? So I had you send them, then I said have a seat because I'm gonna talk for a little bit. And during this time, like let's say in 5 minutes, Goose decides like, this is dumb, and tries to get off. You wouldn't say anything, you would just start tapping him and she'd go back, okay? So here, or actually earlier we saw it a few times where Goose kind of prematurely got off and he started tapping and he would go back on again. That's actually what's teaching him to not get off. Okay, so if you took a child and said, sit here on this chair and don't move, because if you move, you're going to be grounded for a month or something, right? And they can understand that and tie those things together. Dogs don't. For him, he has to attempt to get off. And they're being aversive as he's doing that for him to learn, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay? So if you tell Gus or Goose go to bed, and then 5 minutes later he gets off and you say go to bed again, and he goes, you're resetting. Okay, it's a whole new go to bed command. Okay, so your new command always overrides your old command, even if it's the same command. Okay? It's because he gets off, you say go to bed, so he's like, okay, he goes back on again, but nothing said, don't get off. Okay? So once we send him, his job is to stay there until we give him permission. So then that's when we use the word break. Okay? So he thinks, mom says go to bed, I go, and if I try to sneak off, this kicks in out of nowhere, no warning, and disappears when I go back on again. So I guess when mom sends me here, I just should stay put. Okay? So it's a tiny little detail, but it means a lot. It's a very common one that people make a mistake with, which is they repeat. And they'll say, like, yes, I send a dog to place, and then 5 minutes later they're off place, and then just have to keep throwing in place. And like, yeah, because you keep repeating it, as opposed to saying it once and then reinforcing it. Okay? So here, when you're going to do the stationary aspect of it, you can do this when you're, watching TV, eating lunch or dinner, reading a book, working from your computer. Anytime you're going to be stationary for any period of time, you can do this command, right? So what I have a lot of my clients do is I go, if you're going to watch TV, like, at the end of the day, you have your show or something, you sit down, dog bed here, go to bed. He goes, and then you can step on the leash, or you can hold it like you have it, and you watch TV. 30 minutes goes by, he's like, this is boring, tries to get up, start tapping, he goes back on, go back to watching TV. I don't even have to get up, right? 20 minutes later, he tries again, start tapping, he goes back onto the bed, take off pressure, right? So he's learning, I guess when mom says go to bed, it means to be here for a bit, okay? And it's going to be applicable to you. So what I would suggest to people is to think about where they would apply it and what's the longest they would need it for. The average is about 1 to 2 hours, okay? So if you think, I'd use it for an hour and a half or so, then in the home, and this is like in a new setting, like let's say you're in a restaurant or something, because there's going to be more distractions, waiter, food, dogs, people, sounds, scents, right? Is you would do longer in the home. So if I know I'm going to use this in a restaurant for an hour, hour and a half, then I want to do 2.5 hours in the home. So like
the same day?
No,
or like building up?
What's your question?
So like, are you saying like so is this like if I were to ever take him to a restaurant, or like if I wanted to take him to a restaurant next week, I want to prepare him, so I'm going to do this in the home?
Oh, sure. So you would need more time. Like technically you could literally go to a restaurant right now and do this because it's super simple. And let's say he's making mistakes and there's more distractions, well, you can compensate with more power, right? So you could literally do that. But what I have people do is start in the home. And the reason why they do longer is to compensate for the distractions they're not going to have at home.
Gotcha.
Right? So they're making it more difficult through time.
Gotcha.
And you can do it, and this is in one sitting. So like you go home and you pop on a movie that's 2 hours, go to bed, and you do 2 hours right away. Because he's going to make mistakes, right? But that's how we teach, right? Because and it's like you're going to be sitting still anyways. And all you need to do is literally just hold the leash or step on it. And tap the button when he tries to get off, and then if he needs help, you keep tapping and you guide him. We just don't repeat. Okay, so we don't do 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes to 20 minutes. No, right off the bat. For us here, when we do daycare trains or boarding trains, the day they learn this, they're doing 2 hours right off the bat. They just make mistakes, and we correct them, and they learn very quickly. Like, okay, like place means place. And I'm not going to move for a bit, okay? So, and it doesn't have to be 2 hours every day, but if you know you would perhaps need it in one sitting at a friend's house or whatever for a long period of time, you want to practice in that range within the home. Yeah, on a somewhat regular basis, like 2 to 3 times a week.
Gotcha.
Because if you only do 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever at a time, and then one day it's like, hey, I'm going to go to a restaurant, and you take them, it's not going to work, right? Because you've not done that.
Yeah, now I understand.
Yeah. So it doesn't always have to be every day. You can do 15 minutes one day, 30 minutes another day, 3 hours another day, 10 minutes the next day. You pick and choose, okay? Let me think here. Place, the reason why we teach this, one is because it's so simple to teach, right? It's easy for someone who does not know remote color to learn how this works. And it's also the most lenient. I don't care what Goose does. He can sit, he can stand, he can lay down. He just cannot step off of the area. I mean, he could even run little laps here. But he just cannot step off of the area. Okay. He could even have like a bone or a treat or whatever, as long as it stays within the area. Okay. So, questions about any of this so far?
If he barks while he's on there, that shouldn't change what I do, right?
So, let's say he's on place and he hears a neighbor walking and he barks. You can correct him using the e-collar, and all you do is tap the button. What we want to see is him go to this. So like let's say he barks and you tap him and he goes. Right? You just disrupted that alert state of mind. Okay? What you'll probably see is you're going to tap him and he's going to run off. Because he's going to think that being on the bed is what caused the tap to happen. Got it? So then, if that happens, I keep tapping and guide him back. Okay? And typically by the third time, when someone corrects their dog for doing a behavior on place, like barking, is the dog will flush off the first few times and then they'll keep remoting to get the dog back. So that he learns, oh.
It had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, because I got remoted when I jumped off and then turned off when I went back on again. So I have to be something else. What else was it? Oh, I barked. Right? So you can correct him for that. Now, if you do that, it's more so related to the place and not so much related to the behavior. Okay? Because he's going to think, oh, when I'm in place, I guess I can't bark. Right? In order for him to learn not to bark at anything and everything, he has to be on his own time. Right? And then he's just barking, and then you would correct him at that moment, and he learns, oh, okay, like I guess I can't bark at everything like I'm used to. Okay? But for this first week, what I'm going to have you start with is just this. And feel free to, if he barks on place, to correct him. And then see what happens. If he flushes off, no big deal. You keep tapping. Use your leash to guide him back. Okay? Now, I can see you're a little bit hesitant on the remote. Okay? Is People tend to give dogs the opportunity to avoid the remote. Okay? Super common. And I use every opportunity to use the remote. That's why I get such reliable obedience, because the dog thinks there's no avoiding the remote unless I respond like that. Okay? But if you're giving gray area, he's gonna play with it.
Okay.
Okay?
So I have to use it. I don't like give him an opportunity.
Yes. Because people like, I hope you make the right decision, or I hope you don't go so long that I have to tap you, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is if you wait, 5 barks in, and you're like, okay, now I'm gonna tap you. He's gonna learn. I can bark 5 times before the tap kicks in. So if right off the bat he barks and you know this is not gonna be a thing, you tap immediately. Okay. So then his brain doesn't even go to that 1. He's gonna start dissuading himself, and you'll see where he'll think about it, and then he'll just lay back down again. Yeah. Because he's expecting the tap to happen. But if he does that, we do nothing, because he showed self-control. Right. So then over time, that gets tied to this, and it's like, oh, here, like, it's just chill. Okay. You can also use this like if people were to come over, or guests were to come over. If you were to be barking at the door and stuff, this keeps him at bay. Okay. Now it doesn't mean it'll stop the barking, but it keeps him contained, right? Yeah. So that if you wanted to stop the barking, same concept, you have to correct him until he stops, and you might have to play with that number a little bit. Okay. At this stage, you want to have the leash on. Okay. Because if he gets confused or tries to get away, you're not going to have any means of guiding him back. So we need the leash to give us directional pressure to guide him. Okay. Question so far?
So leash and obviously collar on whenever we're doing bed or place. Like we're doing it for a few hours at a time. So for it's safe to say majority of the day he'll have leash and collar on.
Whenever you're going to use it.
Whenever. Okay.
Yeah. So if it's like.
But don't leave it on like if I'm not using it. Like
correct.
If I'm not practicing it, don't leave it on. Okay.
Yeah. Now if you want to put like, let's say he looks kind of mopey when he has it on, and you want to expose him more to get him over it faster, you can do that. But then you're going to want to rotate the collar every 2 hours, because if you leave it on the same spot for too long, he can develop pressure sores. And it's not from the stim, it's from 2 things poking the neck for a long period of time. Okay, so if you do like a 2-hour place command or bed command, and then he's done, you can remove it, good to go. Okay. Now I'll send you some videos to correct barking outside of this. Okay, and it's not going to be reliant on the collar. Okay. And you can use this approach to correct anything he does within the home that you don't want. Barking, begging, whining, anything you don't want him to do. Yeah. This is what I'm going to send you is meant to stop things. Okay. So aversives are meant to stop things. This aversive, we've developed a means of also using it to teach things, because that's what we just did. We taught him to go to the bed. So because he learns, when I feel this, if I go here, it goes away, right? But also if he were to bark, you would say, don't do that, but with the collar. Okay. So just like with humans, like we get tickets if we go speeding, or we get fined for running a red light, blah 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 blah. Those are aversives to deter people from doing or breaking those laws. Yep. Okay, does that make sense? Other questions?
No. Yeah, it all makes sense. He's responding to it because, yeah, nothing else is very good.
Yeah, so e-collar is really efficient. It's very effective. I think it's just people's notion where they think that they're like hurting their dog. And that's why I typically like dogs bite each other. Yeah. Right? They use physicality.
I feel comfortable with the e-collar portion of it. It's the, like I said, he's very dramatic, so he's very vocal, or like will bark or whine about anything and everything. So I hate seeing him sad. That's all. But like I don't feel like I'm hurting him or anything. It's
sure. And sad is a human component. Dogs don't do sad. Yeah. What people interpret as sad or whatever is typically calm, or just kind of like, again, no one like discipline. Yeah. Where they go, crap, like, right, that sucks. Yeah. That's how that works. Yeah. Okay. So, for your homework for the week is, again, 2 times a day, 3 to 5 minutes, you're practicing the sending exercise. Okay. And then you can also practice duration work. And you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. You can do 30 minutes in the morning, and then an hour in the evening one day, and then the next day you can do like one long 2-hour session. And the next day you can do like 4 30-minute sessions. Because since it's not redundant, it's not frustrating for the dog. It's the sending and breaking back and forth and putting pressure behind it that gets frustrating to a dog. Because it's so repetitive, okay?
Okay, so I don't want to be doing that, like for like 5 minutes, I don't want to like do the back and forth. I do want like a longer duration to be practicing with it.
Oh, so you can practice the sending and the breaking, but no more than 5 minutes.
Okay.
At a time, yeah, 3 to 5 minutes, 2 times a day. The send here, don't move, you can do as long as you want.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
And don't feel bad, dogs tend to sleep 16 to 20 hours a day. You're just picking where he's doing it for part of the day. Okay?
He certainly does not sleep that much as far as I can see.
Other than that, nothing out of the ordinary here. I'm seeing a little shaking here. I'm not sure if it's because it got colder because I turned up the thermostat. And then there's a bit of an air draft here, or potentially just stress, okay, which is normal to see. The more you expose them, the faster he gets over it.
Okay.
When people see that kind of stuff, they tend to lay off of things, and that prolongs the process, because he's not getting exposed to it as much. So for us, if you were to go skydiving, I would think that's a very stressful thing for people, right?
Yeah.
But if you went skydiving once a week, every week, you'd get over that pretty fast.
But then if I didn't and then picked it up again like a month later,
You'd be back to where you were, right?
Okay.
So same thing here. The more you expose him, the faster he gets over it, okay? And also, the more you expose him, the less of that you have to use over time.
Okay.
Okay, when people use it sporadically, only when they need it, that's when they're kind of married to it, okay? They'll get married to a number, that number may change. So, how we took our time to find it. There's not a rush. Once he gets groomed, it's going to make things a lot more consistent.
Okay.
So that should help out a lot as well. Otherwise, I think he did well.
Great.
Okay.
Great. Awesome.
Anything else?
No. I'm really, really excited. Feel good. That there's a solution because, and I think we'll be able to practice this pretty regularly. I work from home, so if I have a meeting, that'll be a good time for me to. Especially if it's not an important meeting, but I'm sitting at my desk to kind of pay attention to him and what he's doing and all that. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to be consistent with it. So.
For this week, just keep it nearby, so that's less work on you. Because if you put him over there and you're over there, and he gets up, now you're gonna walk all the way over here.
I don't know if it's a bad thing, but his bed is right next to my desk. So.
That's fine for now.
For now. Okay.
Now, technically, yes, it'd be a bad thing in the sense of separation anxiety and stuff, which I can't remember. Does he have separation anxiety? He does. Okay. So it's okay for now. We're gonna just play with that.
Okay.
But eventually, we're gonna distance that.
Okay.
Okay. But at this stage, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, because if I'm working, he won't be on the couch. He has to be on my lap. Or if I'm dude, you can't be on my lap, then he'll settle for the bed. But so yeah, definitely separation anxiety because there's not even a wall between my living room and where my desk is. I have an open floor plan, so he could see me if he were in the living room.
Sure.
But he has to be with me.
Right there.
So
yeah. So we'll want to adjust that too. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. So go ahead and
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I break him.
Yep.
Break.